Hey everybody, it's Robin over at Trinity Design Studios, and I'm bringing you a really neat card today with the Celebration stamp set Feeling Sentimental. This is one of my favorite stamp sets out of the 2013 Celebration offerings. It was one of the first ones that I had to have out of the catalog when I saw it. I just love the vintage style images in it, especially that little phone booth. My daughter says it reminds her of the TARDIS from Doctor Who. I don't watch that show, but for you Whovians out there, there you go, something perfect just for you. So the card that I designed with this, it uses the Doctor Who, TARDIS, or the phone booth, whatever you want to call it, the Celebrate stamp out of those two stamps out of that stamp set. It also uses some of the designer paper bits in the Celebration brochure called Sycamore Street. And you can see that I've used the colors there in Sycamore Street on the cardstock pieces of my card. Rich Razzleberry, Summer Starfruit, and Baja Breeze combined with Whisper White. So it all coordinates just beautifully together. So let's get started. I'll show you how to do this card rather quickly. You're going to take a piece of Rich Razzleberry cardstock, and I've cut this at 4 1/4 inches by 11 inches. That's lengthwise. And I took my Simply Scored tool and scored it right down the middle at 5 1/2 inches. So I've got my nicely folded card base in Rich Razzleberry. And then I'm going to take my Summer Starfruit cardstock, and this is cut at 4 inches by 5 1/4 inches, which will give me a nice 1/8 of an inch border all the way around the edges. And I'm just going to line that up like that, so I have a nice mat of color right there. So let me set this aside, and I'm going to work right now with the Baja Breeze cardstock piece. This is cut at 3 3/4 inches by 5 inches. And the first thing I'm going to do before I emboss it with my Big Shot in the Houndstooth embossing folder, I'm going to stamp. I'm going to take my phone booth stamp, and I'm just going to randomly stamp this 3 times on the Baja Breeze cardstock with Baja Breeze ink. So there's 1 and 2 and 3. Did you know that in stamping and in crafting and scrapbooking, doing things in 3s is considered a very good design element? So it's something that's definitely desirable, is doing things in 3s. So there we go, I've got my stamped cardstock. Now I could go ahead and put this on the card just like it is without adding the texture of the embossing folder with the Big Shot, but it really just adds another element to it, another extra layer without adding a layer, some more interest to your card. So we're going to do that right now. I'm going to take my Houndstooth embossing folder and just lay that cardstock right inside like that. And let me grab my Big Shot and bring that over here right to the table. You can tell that my Big Shot is very well loved in my studio. My cutting pads are very well used. So let me just run that through my Big Shot, just like that. Now, you guys that are experienced stampers, you probably didn't need me to show you that, but I'm sure there are some of you who are not as experienced with the Big Shot, and I want to make sure that you see that that is so easy to do. And take a look. See how neat that is? It just added that one little extra element to this card. So what I'm going to do now is just add some more snail to the back of this, just like that, and I'm making sure that I add enough. Now usually I don't use that much snail. Oops, look, it stuck to me. That's crazy. You know, the things that happen to you when you're stamping, right? So, but I want to make sure that all those edges are down nice and smoothly all around the outside. So there you go. There's my card base, all layered up and ready to go. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to bring out my framelits, and I'm going to do that. These are the Apothecary Accents framelits, and I've got 2 of them out of that package, and they're going to make 2 of the different elements that are on the card. I've got the stamped greeting right here with this little label, and then I've got the other label piece is actually the Rich Razzleberry piece that's underneath. Kind of sneaky like that, but it makes a neat element. And I've already gone ahead and cut one of those out with my Big Shot, and I've got that set aside. But what I'm going to do now is do the label for you, the greeting, and we're going to use the Celebrate stamp. Just going to ink that up, and I'm stamping on just a scrap of Whisper White cardstock. And there you go. There's my stamped image. And I'm going to bring my Big Shot back in. So using it a little bit differently this time with the framelits. I'm going to take both those tabs and fold them over and put my cutting pad down. And I'm going to lay the Whisper White cardstock that's stamped right there. And I'm just going to center that Oh, that looks pretty good. About like that. Center that over the cardstock. Lay my cutting pad down. Now my trick to this, I don't use a post-it note when I use my framelits. I just lay my framelit on top of the white cardstock, or on the cardstock that I'm running through, and I squeeze everything together as I push it into the Big Shot, and it makes that really beautiful little label. Isn't that cool? I just love, love, love my Big Shot. If you guys own one, I know you love it too, so I'm probably preaching to the choir there. So one more little extra thing I want to do to this greeting, I want to take some Summer Star Fruit ink and my sponge. Now if you've watched my videos before, you know I love my sponges, and I love that they come in a 3-pack, and I can cut them into 6 pieces individually, so every pack of sponges I can get 18 colors out of. So that's my Summer Star Fruit. Yes, that looks red, but you know what I do with my sponges? I actually throw them in the washing machine when I do a load of colors. I put them in a little laundry bag, and it just washes out the color and it makes it ready for the next color. So it might stain a little bit, but when this was clean, I was able to just stick it right in that yellow ink pad and no red came off on it. So there's another little trick for you to even make more use out of your sponges. So I've got my label right there, my greeting. I've got this label piece right here with dimensionals already put on the back of it. The last little element I need in paper is a strip of the designer paper. So all I've done is just cut this at 1 inch. That's 1 inch by 4 inches. Love how the grid paper measures that for me. And I'm going to take my 1 inch square punch and just flag the end of that. And you don't have to make it perfect. I know some of you struggle with that. It's okay. So there we go. All I did was just take a little divot right out of the end of my my flag, and I'm ready to go. So bring my sponge back over. Just want to add a little bit of color. And believe it or not, when you have this in person, you can really tell that there's a little bit of extra something something on this piece of designer paper. Just makes it stand out just a little bit more. So there we go with that. Now let's put it all together. I'm going to take my dimensional pieces off right here. And there we go. And I'm just going to lay that down. Oh, what do you think? About right there? You like that? I like that. That looks good to me. So next I'm going to take my little flag piece, and I want to take my bone folder and curl this up just a little bit, just to make it. Now you're going to flatten that out in the envelope, but when that comes to whoever you're sending it to, it'll pop right back up, and it's just going to give it a little bit extra interest there. So I'm going to take my snail and just put some snail right on the back of that, and stick it down. Oops, is that right? About like that. I think that looks good. What do you think? Okay. And I'm going to get 2 more dimensionals out and put it on the back of my greeting. 1, 2. Love Stampin' Dimensionals. They're probably one of the top 3 most used tools in my stamp room. And here we go. I'm just going to layer that right here, just like that. You like that? And the last little element I'm going to bring in is one of these silver buttons that's in the Spring Mini catalog. I love these brushed silver buttons. They come in 2 different sizes, and I'm using the small size right here for this project. And I've already gone ahead and pre-tied the linen thread through it. But just so you know, with my linen thread, I actually just use 1 length of the card that the linen thread is wrapped around. That's all the linen thread that you need to thread through that button. Probably a little bit more than you need, but it gives you enough to work with when you're going to go ahead and thread that. So I've already done this one up and trimmed off the ends, and I'm just going to take my mini glue dot. Love mini glue dots as well. I go through them like water and put a couple of mini glue dots on there. Did you see how I did that? I just peeled back the glue, peeled back the glue dot, stuck my embellishment on it, and peeled it back, and I've got mini glue dots right on the back of there. And I'm just going to stick that right there in place. I think that's pretty good and centered right there. So there you go. There's your beautiful Celebrate card that you could send to anyone on your list. Great birthday card, great graduation card, great anniversary card. Celebrate any occasion. Thanks a lot for stopping by today, guys. Be sure and take advantage of Celebration before it ends on March 22nd. That's just a few short days away, and I don't want you to miss these fantastic products. Take care, and I'll see you next time.